Hello everyone, I am Arjun Chaudhary and today I'm going to present this paper. This is linchpin directed protein modification platform for precision engineering of proteins. Last summer I went to IISER Bhopal, I worked with Dr. Vishal Rai. So it is his paper, last year they published this in JACS. So I'm going to present this. Okay, so uh, Ah, so single site protein modification. This is a very essential, like useful tool for our day-to-day life and like for this in science field, in scientific fields also. This is very interesting, like very useful. So this is used in like monitoring this post-translational modification cellular processes. Like if you tag a single amino acid, if you tag a single amino acid of a protein and then like monitor its function, then you can monitor its function like cellular processing. And this is a very common instrument like found in our household. Uh, this is used in like measuring the blood sugar level. This page is actually contains molecules that contains a molecule that are like labeled proteins, and then this is a protein-protein interaction, and you can monitor this protein-protein interactions. And this is if you attach a fluorophore or a radionuclide, you can
Yeah, hi. So can everyone mute themselves, please?
hello, sorry.
That'll be good. Yeah, no. There was a lot of disturbance. So yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so this can also be used in fluorophore. Like if you tag a fluorophore or a radionuclei or some NMR active nuclei, then you can go for imaging.
Yeah.
So suppose some byproduct is uh, forming a HCl or H2SO, like HCl or some base, so then it can change the physiological pH and like it can disrupt the protein structure. And it should not be exothermic or endothermic, then it will like change the temperature and that can rupture the structure as well. So again, and the third problem is the protein concentration will be in micromolar range inside the cell. So if you have to use something that is like the molecules you have to use, that should also like the tagging molecules should also be in micromolar range. But then the collisions will be less, no? So the reaction will not happen. So you have to use something that is like very reactive and specific to that histidine and lysine moiety, and that can react even in the lower concentration. And lastly, there should be some chemoselectivity and site selectivity. So it is like it should only react with one histidine and lysine, and it should like selectively like there should be site selection, like only one histidine or one lysine gets modified. And you cannot use protecting groups because there are several amino acids with in different environments. So if you use protecting groups and deproduction, usually production deproduction forms this byproducts as acid, and usually acid is used to deprotect this. So you cannot use acid, so you cannot use protecting groups. So these are the challenges. And then, so the question is, can we regulate the site of modification? So this is the basic idea used in this paper. So suppose this is a protein chain. This H is histidine and K is lysine. So if you use something that is the tagging molecule, if it reacts with lysine, then like whatever you are using in all the cases, like this molecule can react with all the lysines. But then like the idea is taking a reaction that is irreversible and fast in case of this FKK, like this functional group that attacks this lysine and this lysine. This reaction should be fast and then reversible. But then this FH, the functional group that reacts with histidine, this functional group and histidine, this reaction should be slow and irreversible. Then only like if the spacer, if you can like using PyMol or something, like some softwares out there that can show you the structure of this proteins. So there you can measure the distance between this K and H. So there are several lysine and histidine, so you can measure all of them. And based on that, whichever histidine you are trying to tag, so based on that, you find the nearest distance of this K, of this lysine, the distance between this H and K, and you try to get a similar spacer length using some usually alkyl chains are used to create the spacing. So then this reaction is fast and reversible, but this reaction is slow and irreversible. So even if in the beginning when you are when this Fk is getting attached to this K, all the K all the lysines can react and form this 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 molecule can gets attached to this protein. But then if this FH does not react, like here you can see this FH does not have histidine nearby, so this floats. And here the distance is exactly similar, so this can get attached. And here the distance is very high, so this again floats. So then you use something that remove this FK, because this reaction is reversible. So you can use something that can remove this FK, and only this FH gets attached. So this is the basic idea. So instead of this intermolecular reaction where all this lysines gets attached, you after this reaction this becomes intramolecular. After this intramolecular reaction gives you the single histidine modification. So this is the basic idea. This might not be clear right now, but in the process I will make it clear. So these are some molecules used for this lysine modification. They tried this boronic acid, boronate ester, this is ketone and hydroxy, 2-hydroxy ketones and 2-hydroxy aldehydes. So it shows that this 2-hydroxy aldehyde can give you this aldehyde can get attached to the amine. So we are trying initially we're trying to attach this with this FK should be something that attaches with this lysine. So we targeted this NH2 delta NH2 group of that lysine with this this aldehyde. Aldehyde reacts with this NH2 and forms imine group. That is a very fast and reversible reaction. So this imine can easily if you use something some another amine, that can again remove this and make it NH2 once again. So this is fast and reversible. But again, this is prone to oxidation, so you need something to stabilize this. So this OH group is present that can stabilize. So in this case, they found this heterogeneously tagged molecule of this myoglobin. So myoglobin, so there are several lysines in myoglobin. This all the lysines gets attached. Like this molecule gets attached to many lysines. So initially they found a suitable FK. FK is this hydroxy aldehyde, benzaldehyde. So then, so this is the tagging molecule. The criteria are like this OH will stabilize the amine and inhibit the aldehyde autooxidation. This CHO is chemoselectively will react with the NH2 of the lysine, and this is fast and reversible. And this they tried several FH molecule. This is FH that reacts with histidine, and they found that this epoxide reacts with the histidine and forms a stable bond that is irreversible, and the reaction is slow. Then they varied the spacer and make these molecules. These are they will try with different proteins, and in all the cases they used these molecules, and each molecule gets attached to some of the protein. So the basic idea will be clear. Yeah, you can see this is the myoglobin. This is the histidine of this is the imidazole group of that histidine, and this is the lysines NH2. So this NH2 gets attached to this CHO, and this amine, this imidazole gets attached to this epoxide. Like this epoxide ring opens, and it forms this molecule. Like initially this reaction happens, and then this, and these two are in equilibrium with this is a major product. This is reversible, no? So this is in equilibrium, and then when you add then you after this tagging you have to purify this. To purify, we are using resins. So this is like hydrazine containing resin. So this NH2 reacts with this and forms this resin is like a polymer that can be used to purify this protein. So this is of high mass. So if you can use a plate with a very tiny pores, so then after addition with this resin, this molecule is attached to this resin, no? So when you wash this with buffer, then the other molecules get washed, but this protein is attached to this resin. So this is that's how it is purified. And then you use this NH2OR. This R group will vary this R group to form like different molecules. And then this resin is removed. This NH2OR gets attached here and forms an oxime here. So this is the basic idea how they are tagging this molecule with the proteins. So yeah, then like suppose this is your myoglobin, and in this phosphate buffer like 7 pH, this under these conditions they added this molecule, and initially this CHO gets attached to the histidine and OH stabilizes that, and then sorry, this attached with the lysine, and this CHO attacks with the lysine, and the imine is stabilized by OH, and the histidine attacks with this epoxide, and this bond is formed. Then they use this different molecules to tag different histidines. So like they just change this like the spacing between this epoxide and this hydroxybenzaldehyde. Between these two, the spacing is different in these two molecules, and like as we predicted here, like this, as we change this distance, this spacer, the molecule like will specifically attach to some histidine. Like if this distance is less, this is attached to this. So if it is like if you increase the length, then like this FH can get attached to this, and then this reaction will not happen. So then these two molecules are like here this is attached with the histidine 36, and this is attached with histidine 81. So then they tried with multiple proteins, and like and a solution with multiple proteins, like they tried with multiple proteins here, like, as you can see, like in this is myoglobin RD myoglobin. Here the H36 is tagged, here H81 is tagged in myoglobin. This is cytochrome C, they tagged in histidine H33, and so on. Like these many proteins they have tried. In all the cases they use different LDM reagents. It's like Lynchman directed modification, like modifying reagents. They use different reagents. In all the cases, they found some like single site modification of that histidine in different histidines in each cases. So then single site labeling without any side product. So like there is no byproduct in that reaction, and like only a single site is modified, and then a late stage installation is possible in these cases. Like after this see this CHO is reversible now, so you can use this molecule to remove this. Like this epoxide gets attached to the histidine, and the CHO is free. So then like the CHO is in equilibrium with the lysine. So then you use this molecule, this removes this CHO and forms this oxime. So instead of this benzyl group, you can use something else, and you can use a fluorophore or some NMR active nuclei, or anything you can use to tag this molecule. And this purification is easy, as I showed you here. This purification is very easy, like using resin. So then they used the like this R group. Then we will defer this R group, this benzyl. Instead of this benzyl, they tried with other molecules. Like they tried to show that yeah, only single site modification is happening. So there, these are some proofs. Like this is a CF3 containing molecule. So this is your 19F NMR, 19 fluorine NMR. So here you can see only one peak. This is a symmetrical molecule, so this will show only one peak. So this is around minus 60, 62 or something. This is a typical peak for this. So there's only one peak, so that means only one molecule is getting attached with this myoglobin. And then this is your SDS page data. They use this this is their biotin. In this R group, they use this biotin. And this is your SDS page data. This is your uh, mm, biotin. Sorry, this is your myoglobin. This is your I'm sorry. This is your myoglobin. This is your this is streptavidin. This is streptavidin and native myoglobin, and this is streptavidin like with modified myoglobin, like with tagged myoglobin. Tagged myoglobin. So like here you can see that there's a like band come, then there is a band like above around like this 100 kilodalton. So it means that like one single streptavidin is attached to this biotin. So that means only single site modification. And then in this they use this coumarin. Coumarin gives you this uh, like if a single coumarin is attached, then in this UV study you can see that only this peak is around 433. This single peak comes, so that means that only one coumarin is attached. And then this I have already discussed. This is a purification procedure. So these are some proofs that a single site modification happened. And then they tried to see whether this tagging affects the functionality of this protein. So this is a Western blot data. This is AKT is protein kinase B. Phosphorylated protein kinase B have some role in insulin signaling pathway. So here you can see that the band strength is similar. So that means the tagged insulin and insulin is like working similarly. So this tagging does not affect the insulin functions. I haven't shown the CV data here, the CD data, circular dichroism data. In circular dichroism, they can show that the protein structure is intact before, after tagging. And in this case, also in GAPDH, is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphorodehydrogenase. Here also, you can see that insulin and tagged insulin in both the cases, the effect is both are showing similar strength. So that means that the functionality of this insulin is similar. So here the relative expression of PAKT over GAPDH. Here also you can see that insulin and tagged insulin, both the cases, the effect is similar. So the tagging does not affect this function. And then this is for cellular uptake data. So here, they used coumarin, and this coumarin fluorescence, you can see that in the whole cell, this insulin is get absorbed. So you are seeing this color, and in this DAPI is also a fluorescent dye. Here also you can see this color appears, and when they use this insulin and tagged insulin and insulin, the color intensity drops. So that means that after addition of this, if both are present, it doesn't mean that the cell will only uptake this insulin. It will also uptake the tagged insulin. So the tagged insulin does, if both are present, then also this insulin uptake and tagged insulin uptake is similar. So similarly in DAPI, and when they used both coumarin and DAPI, they showed similar results. So it means that this cellular uptake of this insulin is similar even after tagging. Then this is antibody drug conjugate. So this is very important. So they use this trastuzumab. Trastuzumab is an antibody. So trastuzumab is the Fab region. There is an histidine molecule. So they tag this with this R group. Here they have used this doxorubicin and emtansine. These are drug molecules. So this is an antibody drug conjugate. This antibody is used in breast cancer against this antibody attacks this breast cancer cells like Herceptin to SKBR3 cells. Like MDAMB cells are negative, negative cells, and these are positive SKBR3. So this doxorubicin and emtansine, these are drugs used in stopping the cell proliferation in breast cancer cells. So you can see that this is for 22B. 22B is antibody drug conjugate with doxorubicin, and 21 is your trastuzumab. So you can see that cell inhibition in 22B and 21. This 22B is antibody drug conjugate. Cell inhibition is pretty high than this trastuzumab. So as you are increasing the concentration, so as you are increasing the concentration of 22B and 21, you can see the cell proliferation inhibition is higher in case of this antibody drug conjugate. And this is for this inhibition of the cell. MDAMB 231 is the negative cells, and these are breast cancer Herceptin HER2 negative cells, and these are positive. So the inhibition of the cell proliferation is less in this case. 22B, this antibody drug conjugate only inhibits this SKBR3, this positive cells, cancer positive cells, and not this, like very less in this case, like in this negative ones. And this is like with 22C is like mTANSin. 23, now this is important, this 23 is Kadcyla. Kadcyla is the medicine like used for breast cancer cells. So you can see that this trastuzumab emtansine conjugates, like antibody drug conjugates, show better results than the currently available medicine. Currently available medicine, this Kadcyla, it shows like inhibition something like in this range, and this is higher. And here also the inhibition of the MDA-MB cell is very less in case of emtansine, but in SKBR3 this is like higher. And here also this, you can see this 23 is like this is Kadcyla, and this is your antibody drug conjugate with emtansine. You can see this is showing better result than Kadcyla. So these are the applications, and that's it. I thank Dr. Vishal Rai to let me work in his lab and the lab members. Thank you.
So now I think the session is open for any discussions. If anybody has any questions, they can ask. Uh, if you have any questions, please do ask. The whole point is to have discussions. Such series. Fair enough. I will start. So can you go? You mentioned that we can use fluorophores to
Yeah.
tag, right? We can use NMR active materials or fluorophore.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know any examples of what is currently being used, or
Yeah,
any
that,
examples of something that has been used?
see, this is your,
Because it can be essentially be used to tag site selective tagging of amino acids in a protein, which can
see,
have
this
more
is your
applications.
19F, and like this is your fluorophore, this coumarin, and this is your NMR active nuclei.
Fair. Okay. And in case, so when we looked at the molecule, so if you go back to the part where which was attaching to the lysine moiety. Yes. So 1 second.
This.
Yeah.
Is it?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So the question is, if you mention the chain length.
Yeah.
So this chain length, so it's not like just the chain length, right? It actually, the length actually encompasses the 3D space also. It's like a 3D length. I mean, it will talk about the entirety of space, because of protein in essentially it is a folded structure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you talk about chain length,
Mhm.
so these are like complex molecules. So what if we have a lysine moiety and we have a histidine moiety where one of them is essentially inside and it's hidden? Then what if what theoretically what will be the case? Can that be solved using this technique? I mean, both of
Uh,
them, lysine and histidine, both of them will not be inside, but in case they are,
so then you have to vary this
have you read
chain.
about this?
You have to vary this chain length. If it is if it is in a groove inside this protein, then it is difficult. If it is in the surface, then it is easy to tag actually.
Okay. And is there any what I would call so this paper basically focuses on lysine and histidine.
Yeah.
So are there any other examples using tyrosine,
Yeah,
serine,
there
or
are
something other?
examples like they
Than,
tag cysteine and tyrosine. I don't
so
remember.
that has been
Cysteine.
done by this group only, or
No. Other people are there.
have
Like
they?
they have tagged cysteine before, but like the single site modification is pretty new in this case. Like, the histidine modification is new for
Okay.
this group. We have this histidine.
Yeah. So somebody has a question here. So he said that you mentioned that the hydroxy group of the 2-hydroxy aldehyde stabilizes the imine.
Yeah.
Do you mean by hydrogen bonding? If that is the
Yes.
case,
Yes. Yes.
the
Only that.
electrophilicity of the imine carbon increases, right? Increasing the reactivity of the imine. That's what his question is.
I didn't get it. Can you please repeat?
So what he essentially means is that you said that the hydroxyl group,
Yeah.
which is at the second position,
Mhm.
stabilizes
Yes.
the imine, but he
Yeah.
says that, so he says that the electrophilicity of the imine carbon,
Mhm.
the electrophilicity of the imine carbon also increases by having a hydroxyl group there.
Yeah, but then
Will that not increase the reactivity of the imine?
no, this OH group is like intramolecularly forming a hydrogen bond, no? So that stabilizes that group.
Yeah,
Is it
okay.
clear?
But what he also means is that will it not pull the electrons also towards itself, increasing a more electrophilic center at carbon, making it more prone to electrophilic additions?
Not much actually. Let's see if you like look this benzaldehyde, like 2-hydroxybenzaldehyde. This OH is basically electron donating. Like this is like phenol, na? This is like it is electron donating. So this inductively it can pull, but actually it is donating to the ring now. And this hydrogen bond is intramolecular, so it will not make it more electrophilic.
I hope that answers his question. If there are any more questions, you can ask or you can raise your hand, drop it in the chat box. Anything you feel like. Fair enough. So I think there are no more questions. So in that case, thank you, Arjun, for this presentation.